Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyle, community and neighborhoods. And now from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning. Welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. Dorothy, every week now we march closer to the holidays.
Yes, it's coming upon us fast.
Election week just came and went.
Yay!
And I'm so glad we had so many of the candidates from so many of the towns, the cities in Moore County who were able to come on and speak with us. And
yes, they put a lot of good information out there for the voters.
Yeah. I remember when we spoke to them, one of the candidates said something that I thought was very prophetic, and she said, you know, local elections affect you a lot more on a local basis than any national election or anything that seems bigger than Moore County, you know, that we get to see on TV every night, whether you watch CNN or Fox or
whatever news stations out there.
Or if you're smart, you'll just disconnect your TV.
Which is what I've done.
Because local elections are the things that affect our day-to-day lives.
Yes, they are.
And you know, we're now a couple of days away from Veterans Day. And we've had, even this year, we've had a couple of shows with a couple of different veteran groups. And with all the talk we've done about the changing demographics in Moore County over the years, Veterans Day is become more than just what people like me remember as a childhood parade that our dad or mom would take us to. It was a day off from school. Yeah. And we thought, oh, you know, this is another holiday. Well, it has a lot more meaning today, and I think a lot of the kids growing up here with a lot of the military families, I think it has more of a meaning. And in keeping with the theme that we always talk about, that Moore County provides a lot of nets to its citizens, whether they be kids in school or adults of any age. We're going to talk today about an organization in Moore County. It's the county office for the Moore County Veterans, which we have 2 guests, Jim Peterson, who is the director of the county office, and Kelly Greene, who is an accredited veteran service officer. They're going to talk a lot about the office. I don't know that a lot of people are fully aware of its role in Moore County, but you guys, you have a lot to talk about. You're an apolitical organization. You're just here to serve veterans of all walks of life. Doesn't matter what their political leanings are, et cetera, et cetera. So I will, first of all, Jim, I'll just say good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
to be here.
for coming in. And Kelly Greene. Now, Mary Ann Manning, who has been a past guest on the show, she reached out to me, and I did not realize that she was working in the office with you guys, and she's been a fire plug.
Oh, yes. Mary Ann's been with us, about a year?
About a year now,
and
yes.
She has been a huge asset.
Yeah. Does the Moore County Veteran Service organization, does it fly under the radar pretty much?
I don't know how, but every day when we're in the office, we have veterans that walk in, or widows of veterans that walk in. They're eligible for benefits and had no idea that we were there or that they were eligible for benefits.
How does that, and one of the shows we had on this year was a group of 2 retired military guys who were providing an assistance program for veterans to help them, I guess, claim some services or some rights that they might not have been aware of. Why is there such a disconnect?
Well, Moore County, we have a lot of resources in this county, but a lot of other places don't get the resources that we do here in Moore County. And like just Moore County office, we have 3 accredited veteran service officers, and there's about 16,000 veterans and dependents that are possibly eligible for benefits. So it's just really hard to reach them all with limited resources.
And does your office cover all of Moore County? It doesn't go beyond that?
Yes, we cover all of Moore County residents. We try to stick to that. but occasionally we will take out of county residents.
Our office is funded by Moore County tax dollars. But if a veteran with cancer, Vietnam veteran with cancer from Sanford comes in, we're not just going to kick them out and tell them to go back to Sanford. We'll get them started and do a warm handoff with a representative in his area that can help them.
Mm-hmm. And the people that are eligible for the services that your office provides are?
Any veteran
Okay.
that had any, there's some service requirements, but in general, if you were hurt in the military, even a knee strain, finger strain, hearing loss, you're possibly eligible for VA compensation. Now, there's other low-income programs too. If you're a wartime veteran, there's other requirements. I'm just going to be fast with it. Wartime veteran,
Yeah.
low income, disabled, doesn't have to be service-connected disabled. If you're disabled and you can't work, there's financial programs for that too. It's called the Veterans Pension Program.
If you're a veteran and you're disabled, but not as a result of military service?
Correct.
Oh, I didn't
Correct.
know that.
Yes.
It's a very low-income program. You have to make, there's 3 rates of it too: basic, housebound, and aid and attendance pension rate. The basic pension rate, you have to make about 14. Well, your income minus your medical expenses has to be below about 14,000 a year. I can't remember the exact number, but it's close to that.
Okay.
If you're housebound, like just say eligible for Meals on Wheels because you can't go buy your food, then you're considered housebound, and that amount goes up to about $18,000. Or then if you're in need, what the VA calls aid and attendance, if you're in need of aid and attendance, so say you're eligible for Meals on Wheels, but you need somebody to go to the door and get you that meal, then you would be considered aid and attendance. And the max amount on that is about $24,000 a year. So your income minus your medical expenses would have to be below $24,000. Then the VA would pay you that difference divided by 12 every month for your annual rate.
In between the lines, what I just think I heard was, Kelly, you comment on this? There's a lot of reality that comes through your office that
Very much so.
a lot of
yes.
people don't see.
Yes. Yes.
It's got to be humbling, and there are a lot of people who are in need.
Yes. I tell people every day that this job is the best job in the world because we are changing people's lives.
Right.
And it is very humbling to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, we talk a lot about southern and northern Moore County, and the tale of two counties. Mm-hmm. It's no different in the veteran population, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And since you mentioned northern Moore County, something I want to throw in there. We are the county obtained the Westmore building from Sandhills, and the Department of Aging is moving in there first, and then we're going to have access to an office in that part of the county in that building.
Okay.
Yep. And we should be a few weeks to another month or so.
So there are no less than 5 generations living in Moore County right now.
Yeah.
And the veterans comprise 4 of those generations. So you run the gambit from senior civic, the civic generation, all the way down.
Yes,
Yeah,
we see World War II veterans all the way up to present day veterans.
Wow.
So, yes.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's because, today in Moore County, the influx of younger military families are so predominant, but there's a whole host of other people here retired in different generations.
Yes.
Yeah, the young military members retiring or getting discharged, they're still not getting the services they need, but it's a lot better than what the Vietnam, Korean, World War II era veterans received when they got out of the military.
Can I just step back and ask it's not meant to be a loaded question, but how strapped is the VA in terms of being able to provide help? I mean, you said you're county funded by taxes. Are you relying on the VA for any financial assistance?
No, we're county employees, and our office runs solely on Moore County tax funds.
Okay.
We do get a grant. Sometimes we get a grant from the state. Sometimes it's $1,500. Sometimes it's $2,500. But the rest of that's just funded by Moore County tax dollars. And we get our initial training through the state, And then we're also part of a couple different associations where we get cross accreditations with veterans organizations like DAV, American Legion, Vietnam Veterans of America.
We also get national training as well.
For us to deal with the federal VA.
Yeah. So you guys are not flush with funds. You operate on a tight budget, fiscal discipline. I mean, this is not something where no one's getting rich off.
No.
Trust me, right?
My Marine Corps. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. My Marine Corps past has helped me with that because we were used to getting Army hand-me-downs to operate. So.
All of our services in our office are funded by the county. So veterans do not have to pay anything for our services. They're all free. And we solely operate on county funding.
Yeah.
Can you fundraise beyond the county funding?
We have received donations in the past, and it went into funds for specific items.
Okay. So we're not talking about a Fortune 500 company with profits to burn. Yeah. So what is it that motivates you guys to put yourself in this situation, in this department? Because it's a lot of giving.
It is, but it's the best type of giving because we are able to help the people, our service members who have given up so much for our freedom.
Right.
And I'll tell you my story. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I went through, they still do these they call them SEPs and TAPS classes. They still do them, but all I was told was go see the VA when you get out. I was told why or what the VA will do. So I went to the VA when I got out, and they said, there's nothing really for you. If you get sick, I can get you VA health care. So I went years thinking there's no VA help. I got this job, and then I found out, I talked about the VA pension earlier and the low income. VA disability goes from 0% to 100% in 10% increments. Like 0% means you have a disability, but it's not bad enough to be payable. Maybe you sprained a finger or something. 20% is about $255 a month.
Yes.
30% is a little more. 50% VA disability is $1,000 tax-free money a month. On up to 100%. 100% is just over $3,000 a month tax-free money to the veteran. So that's really drives me to somebody gets an award like that for putting their body on the line.
Right.
It's really rewarding to help somebody do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard nightmare stories about, and you do. There's so much information out there; it's almost too much. The whole process of getting disability claims filled, satisfied, people get run around all the time. How true is this?
It does happen. One thing with our office and with our accreditation is we have access to the VA system so that we can follow along with the claims. And if there is something that is not going the right way or something happens, we can see that and be able to react to it for our veterans.
Yeah, in theory, the claim process is very simple. You just log on to eBenefits, create an account, follow the directions like TurboTax, upload your medical records. If you have private medical records, if it's VA medical records, you just type in there which VA and they get the records electronically. Yeah. And you just click submit and file a claim that way. In theory, it could be that easy, but the VA has about 440,000 employees, and there's a human error possible. So if you file with an accredited agent, we have access to the VA system. We could see your whole claim through the process, who looks at it, what they're saying, all the notes involved. If VA sends you for an exam, we can see all the results for the exam in there. And if there's a mistake made, which sometimes there is, we can identify that mistake and get it fixed.
Why are so many veterans unaware of the services that are available to them? Because I get that from just speaking to a couple of people. They're not fully aware.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it seems impossible to do enough. You can't do enough outreach. Yeah. You just can't do enough. We're trying other avenues. Yeah.
So and that's what you guys need to do.
Yes,
you need to get out there, and this is one way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me about the website. is it the Moore County Gov website that
Yes.
people can go to?
Yeah, it's really easy. Instead of writing down the website, if you just go moorecountync.gov, click departments, click veterans.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to get to it.
Okay.
If you try to type out the website, it's real long.
I've had occasion in my business, in the real estate business, to run into and to work with a lot of veterans, many of whom have been medically disabled, but they're functioning, they're fine, but they can't serve anymore,
Yep.
and they're young, they're in their 30s, and either through one deployment too many, or there are a lot of in addition to the physical disabilities, there are also a lot of people that have been psychologically challenged. Do you all provide services in that department?
We don't provide those services, but we can refer individuals through the VA, or there's a lot of local resources here that
Yeah.
help with those PTSD,
Yeah.
traumatic brain injuries, polytrauma with IEDs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm amazed. In just this area alone, I've worked with a lot of military psychs who have come and they've settled here and they've called Moore County home.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me how many there are.
Yeah.
So there are people that are there for you, I guess, when you're active duty, and then probably when you're not.
Yeah, and then there is the problem. There's still a stigma attached to any kind of mental health, PTSD related. PTSD does not mean you're going to hurt somebody. I mean, you might be a little more on guard. You might look out for your family a little. Might be on your guard and on your toes a little more. It doesn't mean you're going to go out and hurt people.
That stigma of
Yeah.
psychological damage is permeates areas other than military. I mean,
Yeah.
you have tennis elbow, you go to the doctor, you get an X-ray,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
You think you can't process properly because for whatever reason, there are people to go to get that squared away.
Yeah.
Even though it's physical on one end and mental on the other, they're all wrapped into the same.
Yeah, if you
same
have
ball.
little too much chemicals going
Yeah.
on in your brain,
Yeah.
no different than diabetes, too much insulin. Yeah.
Correct.
That's a good way to put it. We're going to come back in the second set. We're speaking all about the Moore County Veterans Office servicing military veterans, active military too. I would assume. No, probably not. Just retired.
If you're on active duty
Yeah.
and you live in Moore County within
Yeah.
180 days of discharge,
Yeah.
you can file benefits delivery at discharge claim through our office,
There you go.
and we will walk you through the process.
Veterans Day is 2 days away. This is good timing for this show. We'll be right back. This is All Things Moore County. Welcome back to All Things Moore County. We're talking all about the Moore County Veterans Service Office here in Moore County, funded by your tax dollars. And it seems like in the first set, in speaking to both you, Jim and Kelly, awareness is an issue that you're trying to make more people aware of. And you have an event coming up next week on the 15th of November.
We have it November 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And tell me what's going to go on there.
It's going to be, well, it started off as our office's open house, but it's turned into more of it's going to be a veterans resource event. And
We have about 30 different agencies that are going to be coming to set up tables. We are going to have
job placement
yes,
organization.
job
Employers,
placement
yeah.
employers coming to who want to hire veterans. We're going to have a mortgage lender coming to talk to veterans about the home loan.
Smart.
So there's going to be a lot of resources from the community and the VA that will be at this resource event.
We will. They won't be working claims, but we will have people from the federal VA, Veterans Benefits Administration, and the Veterans Healthcare Administration.
What do you hope the result of this open house will be?
To get the word out to
Yeah.
veterans that we're here to help you. There's all these other agencies in the county that are here to support our veteran community.
And you can't say enough times that there is no charge
Nope.
for these
No,
services.
no.
Correct. They
it's
are
free.
completely free.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we don't only help with our office. We help with VA disability. We also help you get enrolled in VA health care. If the Veterans Pension Program, Widows Pension Program. If a veteran dies of a service-connected disability, there's a dependents indemnity compensation. It's about $1,300 a month for a widow.
Jeez.
If the widow's in receipt of that, then she's eligible for free health insurance paid for by the VA. There's just so many different benefits that are
Our
they're
office doesn't
available.
only serve the veteran. We
Yeah.
serve that veteran's whole family. So their spouse, their dependents, anything that they could be eligible for.
All right. So one of the questions I asked you before when we met, before we started the show, was if you had served, and you'd said no, my husband did.
Correct.
So you were never actively enlisted.
I was never actively enlisted. My husband was actively enlisted. He was in the Iraq War. He went over to he went over to Iraq in 2004. He was a
Wow.
medic, and so I've been on the spouses end and have met a lot of spouses through my job who I've been able to help and relay with.
There's so many. It's really interesting. There's so many military spouses today in our real estate industry here in Moore County. Many of them, and we get to see them when their husbands are deployed and when they're not, and they have kids, and people don't understand the pressures of a military spouse and the responsibilities and the duties. I mean, I don't know how half these women catch their breath.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to earn a living, raise a family, and they have to do it on their own for 3, 6, 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Puts a tremendous amount of pressure.
It does, yes.
On that, one of our vendors that will be at our resource fair, they're on the list here. Well, caregiver support services, but they help the caregivers and the spouses and family. Their specialists going to be at that event.
May
for
I
those-
see that
for those
flyer?
topics.
I want to just
Yeah.
take a look at it. Yeah, there are a lot of good organizations here that are going to be there. One of the things I've noticed about the positive side of military veterans, retired, a lot of them are very entrepreneurial in
Yes.
spirit, and they have started in Moore County a lot of businesses. And this is the success rate. These are the people at the top of the food chain, I guess, who have managed to retire, start another career at an age when a lot of people are still. They have plenty of years in front of them, and they've taken it to another level. But that's not your focus.
No. We focus more on helping the veterans, the retirees, to be able to get their benefits through the VA.
And then, I guess if you want to be an entrepreneur, I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but if you are a disabled veteran, we can help you with the disability paperwork. Then that opens you up for other resources through the federal government and state government too for small business loans and such.
Yeah. Some of the information on the news, again, we get so much information. We hear things a lot about Agent Orange and the lingering health effects, Blue Water veterans. And
It's going to be a new one coming.
Yeah, and I, I'm a layman, and I sit back, and there's so much information every night when I go home. If I turn my computer on, I can only take in so much. So I know names, I know labels, but I don't know details.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about Agent Orange and what?
There's for Service Connection, there's 4 ways to get it. Either direct, like you're riding on a truck, fall off, hurt your back, direct injury. Secondary, you're riding on a truck, fall off, hurt your back, you have pinched nerves, secondary to the back injury. And then there's aggravated, say you played football in high school, hurt your knee, you joined the military, you were found fit for duty, but then later on it was aggravated beyond natural progression.
Right.
The last one is presumptive. If a veteran, if you were in a certain place, it's presumed that you were exposed to certain things. If you ever come down with an identified condition later, it's going to be presumed that that's service connected. So there's about 15 different conditions that if a veteran stepped foot on the ground in Vietnam and they ever in their life come down with one of those conditions, it's going to be presumed it's caused by Agent Orange and used in Vietnam. Like almost every type of cancer, ischemic heart disease, not AFib, not atrial fibrillation, but actual heart blockage is attributed to Agent Orange. What else am I missing?
There's diabetes.
Parkinson's
disease.
Really?
Is affected. And the thing, as you brought up the blue water, the VA is now saying that Navy veterans that were within 12 nautical miles of Vietnam were also exposed to Agent Orange. And this is a huge event for Navy veterans because the VA has always said, no, they were never exposed to Agent Orange, but now the VA is saying, yes, they are. So if there's any Navy veterans out there that were within 12 nautical miles, they really need to get in to see us so that we can start getting those claims filed with the VA.
The VA is going to start processing those claims July 2020, but the earlier you file, the possible earlier your effective date of your pay is going to be. So they're working out all the details, but if it goes with the last Agent Orange conditions that they came out with, if a veteran filed, say, in 2000 for ischemic heart disease, but the VA says you weren't boots on ground, you were on this ship, it's possible that they'll pay that veteran back to 2000 when they first filed and then were denied. So the earlier you file, the better. And we're kind of surprised there hasn't been a slew of Blue Water Navy veterans coming in yet.
Are they aware?
That's why we're trying to get the word out.
I don't think they're aware yet.
I don't know that all of them are aware. Yes.
Let's say they were. Let's say that you had a rash of people flooding your office, becoming aware. Is it a political football?
The political football was already decided with there were some laws and lawsuits, how they came up with that 12 nautical miles offshore Vietnam.
Oh.
Now it's just going to be if you have that condition.
Okay.
One of those conditions that they agree are caused by Agent Orange.
Okay.
And you're with one of these ships that they know it's going to be presumed.
Okay, so that part is well defined.
Yeah.
But the political football that I was referring to has to do with how the VA rates disabilities.
It's
Isn't payment dependent upon the disability rating?
Yeah, well, every condition, 38 CFR Part 4, has a listing of every condition that could possibly be wrong with a human being.
Okay.
And they set the rates like 0% on up. Some conditions only go 50%, some go on up to 100%. But they have disability benefit questionnaires. You can get a disability benefit questionnaire filled out by your private doctor and submit to the VA, or if you show proof that you're a Vietnam service, you have that condition, they'll send you for the VA will pay for that questionnaire to be done through a private contractor. But they fill out that form, it's all check boxes, and then the VA rater matches that in their computer and it spits out a percentage. But any cancer, if you're diagnosed with cancer, it's 100% for a year, and then they reevaluate you again after a year and they rate you on the residuals.
If you're diagnosed with cancer of any kind?
The Agent Orange related ones, yeah.
Like prostate cancer, respiratory cancers, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Those are all presumptive of Agent Orange.
So if there's a veteran that was on a ship within 12 miles, he has lung cancer.
Right.
He files a claim, he'll be 100% for, if the lung cancer is active, be 100% for a year. Then after a year, they reevaluate you on the percentage. So they do like your air function testing and all that, and rate you on that.
So much of this sounds like a cradle-to-grave net that the VA supplies to the veterans if they were only aware of what's available to them.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's come back in the third set, talking all about the Moore County Veteran Service Office, the VA, and the things that veterans need to hear about in terms of what's available to them, and just make them more aware.
Actually, we got this here. This is on our front door of what we do.
We're going to come back in the third set, and we're going to talk all about that. We're going to start with that. This is All Things Moore County. Thank you. Welcome back to our final set of All Things Moore County. The Moore County Veteran Service Office is served by Jim Peterson, who's the director of the county office. Jim's an accredited Veteran Service Officer and a Marine, and Kelly Greene, who is an accredited Veterans Service Officer. And they're talking to us today all about awareness of the county office, what it provides to veterans, and what it doesn't provide, actually. And we're going to get into that, I think, this set. You have a great visual of the do's and the don'ts, or the cans and the cannots, as to what you do provide and what you don't provide. And we'll post them on our podcast synopsis.
Great.
If you want to
Yes.
go over them to give
Sure.
people as much information as
How
possible.
about you tell everybody what we do?
So the things that we can do is file disability compensation claims for veterans, and also another program that is an income-based program, which is a veterans pensions claims. That is if you are lower income but do not have a disability that was caused by the military. We also help with survivor benefits, and all of their claims, which is also whether the service member was died because of a service-connected disability, or if the survivor is also low income. And then we can also help with vocational rehab for veterans who are 20% or higher in their disability rating. The VA will pay for them to go back to school and be able to help them in a different career field. Our office can help with enrolling veterans into the VA medical facility. We cannot make the ID cards, but we can do the paperwork to get them enrolled in the medical facility. We can also help with getting the military and veterans license plates. That is one thing that we would like for veterans to come to our office before going to Aberdeen to get their plates, because our office has to actually sign off on those forms.
So they should come to you first.
Yes, just to save you an extra trip, because otherwise Aberdeen, the license plate office, is going to send you to our office in Carthage.
Anyway.
And yes, and it's a lot of driving back and forth for the veterans. So if they could just come to our office with their paperwork that shows whichever plate they would like.
That just tells me that there's a lack of awareness
Yes.
that you're trying to overcome.
Yes. Our office can also help with changing your address if you've moved, with your direct deposit for your VA benefits. We can also help you with ordering your military service records. So if you've lost those, or if you have lost your awards that you received, we can help you with ordering those and getting a replacement for the...
Any cost for that?
No, it is completely free. National Archives will replace any awards that you received once in a lifetime. So sometimes it's nice...
Don't lose them twice.
You're right. We also help with ordering grave markers. So veterans that have passed away, as long as you did not have a dishonorable discharge, you are able to have a free grave marker, and we can help with filling out that paperwork. And then we also have other agencies that we work with, like we talked about earlier with the resource fair. that we can refer veterans to. So we do offer a lot of different.
Okay.
The word left.
Our service.
Well, there are a lot of services.
Yes, different services. Yes.
Yeah, and if people just came to visit the office, you can, and all of this stuff is on the website.
Yes.
All these, okay, but there's certain things that you don't do that maybe people think that you do.
Right.
There are some things that I guess we don't. Anything that we don't do, and we can't, or we're not legally authorized to. But one of the main things, filing for VA education benefits, they really take. We don't even receive training on that anymore. It's all done on vets.gov, and it's really easy. If you can't do it on vets.gov, go whatever school you're going to or looking at. Go to the vet rep in the financial aid office, and they can help you with that. Kelly already said it. We don't make ID cards. You get your VA healthcare card, your military retirement card, or you can go on vets.gov and get a VA card showing you're a veteran. You can do that yourself on vets.gov. We help you and advocate for you for your claims, but we do not approve or deny claims. We can help you with your VA claims, but we can't help you file Social Security claims. We do not and cannot write VA award letters. I get asked a lot, but I can't give financial or tax advice.
Right.
I can tell you that your VA income is non-taxable. That's as far as I can go.
Right.
I can't tell, even if they're VA doctors, I can't tell them what you need or what to prescribe you. And a big one is we cannot assist third parties in making claims against veterans' benefits. If there's an ex-spouse, we cannot help that ex-spouse go against a veteran's benefits. If somebody wants to do something like that, they should probably speak to an attorney. In our office, we don't prescribe medicines or give out medical equipment. And we cannot, the VA Medical Center, we can help you get enrolled, but we can't make or change your VA appointments for you. We can speak on your behalf to the Veterans Benefits Association for your claims, but we can't speak on your behalf for your medical care. And that goes along with calling in medicine refills. We can't touch that. Okay. And we can't, if you're enrolled in VA healthcare and you go to a private doctor and somehow you're charged or something isn't carrying over, we can't make VA pay any private doctor bills.
Okay.
And also, I'm just an armchair therapist. I can't really provide any mental health counseling.
Okay, good to know, because I was going to ask you if you were free after.
I'm just an armchair therapist, not real.
So let me let the cynic in me just come out a little bit, and let me play devil's advocate with you, because in a lot of situations with a lot of nonprofits, in any kind of an organization that's trying to help others, there are people who are trying to take advantage of others. Yep. It's an elephant in the room, and I have seen myself just on TV where people are selling a service to a veteran, and it just doesn't feel right. And yet I would imagine that a lot of veterans might not know. They don't have a troubleshooter for them to put them through the necessary steps to find out if they're legit or not, and what's in it for the people who are selling the service. Do you come up against that a lot?
We've been seeing a lot of that. I've been with the Veterans Office almost 10 years now. I've seen it the whole time.
Yep.
I've been working there, but last year, maybe 2 years, I've seen it growing a lot of scammers out there, predatory practices.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good way to put it.
The VA Office of General Counsel, they put out guidelines for you to be accredited to represent veterans for claims.
Right.
And during that accreditation process, you have to pass FBI background check, you have to pass competency tests, keep up your CUEs, a lot of parts to that. And that's to keep it a professional representation advocacy program. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of non-accredited companies popping up. But it's if I see it, I have to report it, and I do report it quite a bit. If a veteran comes to us, we have power of attorney for their claim. We can access their VA file.
Right.
They go somewhere and file somebody might help them exaggerate their symptoms. And if I see that in the file, I have to report it. Right. But there are groups, a lot in Fayetteville, they'll charge you $500 file the claim forms for you, send them off. And then veterans end up coming to us. They get a letter saying proposal to reduce from the VA, and they go from 90% to 30%. And we help them fix it and teach them how it should be, but we shouldn't have to do that.
So if a veteran comes to you and has a question about some organization that has reached out to them that makes promises that might seem too good to be true, they could come to you you could be like the Consumer Reports advocate and basically tell them.
In a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
We can tell
yes.
you, you can go to the VA Office of General Counsel website.
Right.
They have a list of everyone that's accredited.
Right.
And the only people that are supposed to be able to actually charge for claims help are accredited claims agents and accredited attorneys. And they're what it is like Social Security. They can attorneys can get a certain amount of the retro pay. Same thing with VA. I think it's 20%, maybe might be 33.5. I can't remember exactly right now.
Yeah.
But they can get up to like 20% of your retro payment. There's a lot of groups that want, and it goes against what the VA Office of General Counsel and federal law says. They might want 5 or 6 months of your first award. So, young veteran getting out of the military, PTSD, Purple Heart, couple ID blasts, he's probably going to get 100% disability, but one of these groups will want the first 5-6 months of that, and that could be over $15,000. Mm-hmm. So,
That's
maybe
significant.
0.003 cents of my tax money went to that $3,000 a month, but I'd rather go in that veteran's pocket than somebody else's pocket.
On
Me
the same
personally.
note, we've also had veterans come in who have gotten something in the mail that they're like, where they're asking for money and things like that.
Right.
And we have had them bring that in, and so we can kind of look and find out if they're a legitimate company or not.
So if it doesn't feel right, you'd
Yeah.
say to a veteran, follow your instincts.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're there to help you clarify.
Yes.
Don't do something on impulse.
Right.
Yeah, it's disheartening
It is very disheartening.
to see that, especially from where you're coming from with, as we said in the first segment, you must see an awful lot of reality.
Yeah.
And it takes your breath away, actually.
Right. Yes.
And going forward right now, military is such a large part of our world, and it's not going to. No one's going to take their foot off the pedal anytime soon that I can see.
No.
Right.
Right.
So, in wrapping up, I'd like to ask you both. If there's something you wanted to say about the department, the office, what message you'd like to get out to the veterans. Yes, there's a lot of information here, but big picture. Kelly, I'd start with you.
We want to get the word out that yes, we are here. We are here to help you. We are located in the agricultural building in Carthage. That is 707 Pinehurst Avenue. And feel free to stop in and ask questions. If you even don't know what the right question is, we have a great number of resources that I'm sure just by coming in the office, you will be able to find out a wealth of knowledge. If
I'd say if you think there's a possibility that you might be eligible for benefits,
Right.
come on in, make an appointment, call us or make an appointment. The worst can happen is tell you no, you're not eligible. That's the worst.
No.
Might be highly likely that you are eligible for something and never even knew it.
Yeah. The Moore County Veterans Service Office stands for straight information.
Yes.
correct.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And in the days where we get inundated with all kinds of information, they can come to you and they could consider you the benchmark. Go from there, or the standard, so to speak, and they're going to get straight information and not be misled or misguided.
Correct.
You're not salesmen.
Nope.
You're out there to service. You're out there to service others, serve others.
And just about everyone in our office has some type of military background. Either they were in the military or their spouse, or, they have a family member that was in the military. So,
Very, very empathetic staff.
yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys came in. There's a lot a lot of information that you've discussed, and there's a lot more that people can go on to the website and read about.
Yes.
So they can start a conversation with you. And the more information they have, the better decisions they can make. So thank you for the service you're providing. And this Veterans Day, and I guess every Veterans Day in our lifetime going forward, will have more and more and more meaning because we have more and more and more generations that are fall under the umbrella of your office.
Yes.
You
yes.
know.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Kelly, thank you for coming
Thank
in, and Jim, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Honestly, both of you, you speak from the heart, and it shows. Even though there are no cameras here to capture your faces, we appreciate you coming in, and we will all see you next week. This is All Things Moore County. Thank you.